Hey guys, it's Laura. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing 3 different pairs of Vivobarefoot shoes. The Geo Shells, the Primus Lite 3s, and the Ultra 3s. I'm also announcing my very first ever giveaway. So if you want to win one of 2 pairs of Vivobarefoot shoes, stick around until the end where I'll give you all the details. But for now, let's dive into the video. Okay, I have lots of shoes out here. Let's talk. We're gonna first move into the Geo Shells. These guys right here. The Geo Shells are inspired by old school or retro sports shoes, and I think they look really good too. They have different colors. I thought the black was just spot on. As my dad would say, they look super sharp. Maybe he wouldn't say super, but he would say they look sharp. But I think I was drawn to them because I'm such a huge fan of the Geo Quartz. Now these came out last year, so back in 2020, and I fell in love with these. The only problem that I have is that they're not very breathable. And in Houston, summer, I can't do it. So I haven't been able to wear these shoes in months because it's so hot and it feels like my foot is just sitting in an oven. Any other time of the year is fine. But this Geo Shell kind of solves that problem. These have a few different materials, and I even took note of them so I didn't forget to mention them. They are made from canvas hemp, wild hide leather, and an organic cotton lining. So my feet can breathe in these shoes. Now when I first tried these shoes, there were a few things that I didn't like about them. Let me explain. I'm generally a size 7.5 in most of their shoes, and that's what I ordered. But with the insole in, they didn't really fit. They felt a little too small. I have taken the insole out and it feels perfectly fine. No issues, and my feet are strong enough, so I really don't need the insole as much as I used to. But with that said, I was disappointed initially that the fit wasn't what I anticipated. Another troublesome thing I initially noticed was the toe box. It didn't feel as wide as the Geo Quartz. And that was one of the reasons why I love these shoes so much, is that they just feel wide and comfortable and my feet can splay naturally. I felt a little cramped when I first started wearing these. Wasn't a huge fan, but I also figured, well, maybe I just need to break them in a little bit. And speaking of breaking in, I was having issues with the area around the ankle. It felt very stiff initially, and I was getting some irritation around my ankles. I also had a cut on my ankle, so that really wasn't helping, so I kind of had to wait a few days to really test these out. But it has been a significant amount of time. I think I've had these shoes for maybe a month, and I'm very happy to say that I have broken them in, and they are super comfortable. I really like them. They don't feel as constrictive as they did in the beginning. I think the area around the toe box has softened up a little bit and maybe even expanded, or maybe just the fabric. And also the area around the ankle, the opening of the shoe, has softened up considerably. So at first, these shoes weren't super comfortable. I'm not used to having to break in Vivobarefoot shoes. I needed to break these in. So I think this is a great shoe, very comfortable, but not initially, at least in my experience. And I did hear a few other people across the internet say similar things. But I'm not sure if you'll really be able to see that big of a difference in the toe box. But I do think that the Geo Quartz is a little bit wider in that area. So to wrap up the Geo Shells, I do like these shoes. I wasn't a huge fan initially, but they have definitely grown on me and I've broken them in. And I think the black looks really good. I think the design looks really good, and particularly the black ones. I'm kind of obsessed with how they look, and I feel kind of cool when I wear them. I love this V. It's big, it's bold, A+ on design, maybe a B for the lining area and the toe box width. They definitely have some wider shoes available, which leads me into the Primus Lites. Oh, how I love the Primus Lites. These are my tried and true, but I think we should talk about the evolution of these shoes over the last few years, because they have changed. So if you've been around my channel for a while, you may remember these guys. These are the first Primus Lites and the first Vivobarefoot shoes I ever got. And they're still here today. But I'll be honest, I really don't wear them anymore. Hardly at all. But I knew that one day I was going to do a video comparing the different Primus Lites over the years, because I wanted to see the evolution. So it's time to share that with you guys. So I think the biggest difference between these kind of old school Primus Lites versus the newer ones, like these. This is the Primus Lite II Bio, and then here's just the regular Primus Lite II. I think these are recycled. The ankle area and the shoe opening with the original Primus Lites, I'm just gonna call these the original because they're the original ones for me. The fabric has changed. I think it's received a good upgrade. This is, yes, it's thinner, but it feels more durable. And the shoe itself holds its shape. These tend to lay pretty flat, which is fine, but I just think it's a little more aesthetically pleasing when you have a little bit of lift in the shoe. Now, I do want to mention that I have worn these shoes religiously. I love them. They've become my dirty job shoe, and let me know in the comments down below if you have a pair of shoes for the same kind of thing, where you're willing to put them through the ringer if you're gonna be in mud or doing something gross, or I don't know, you just want to wear the shoes that you always wear because you want to keep your other shoes nice. Am I the only crazy one? Maybe I'm not crazy. I probably am. But the fact that I've worn these shoes so much and they still look like this is pretty good. Only downside is that, well, apparently I heel strike, if you can't tell, and I've worn out the sole at the bottom, but I believe with Revivo you can send them back, and I think this may be just for the UK, but you can get your shoes resold. Now I can still send these to Revivo and they can resell them and they'll fix up the soles and all that, but I don't really want to part with these because I love them so much. Now these shoes are essentially the same as the Bios, but they're slightly newer for me and they have a little less wear and tear on the heel and in the sole, or on the sole, I guess you should say. But I love this color. Yes, they're a little dirty, but that's just life. They're so comfortable and I just think they look really good. Now, let's move into the threes. Now, I was really curious to see if they had made any changes that made these shoes better or worse. The only real change that I think they made with the Primus Lite 3s are around the materials that they've used. I think they're using more sustainable materials than in previous versions. Now, they are trying to do this with all of their shoes, and I'll get into the Ultras a little bit later. But let's do a side-by-side of the Primus Lite 3s and the Primus Lite 2 recycled. Really, they feel pretty much exactly the same. I can still move my toes. They feel great. They're really comfortable, and I think they look so good. So if you've been curious about the Primus Lites, the 3s are the newest and they're fantastic. But if you still want to get maybe some of the colors from their previous collections, you can get these and others on revivo.com. So at this point we've covered the Geo Shell and the Primus Lite 3s. We need to talk about the Ultra 3s. These guys. Not only can you wear these shoes on land, which one would hope, but you can also wear them in the water. And I was very intrigued by that because I do have some water shoes. I believe they're Keens, but they're not barefoot and they're kind of big and heavy and clunky, and I just was hoping for a change. So here we go. And let's face it, I just really like the color of these shoes. But we need to talk about how they're made because I think this is really cool. Now these shoes are made from bloom foam, which takes harmful algae blooms out of waterways to lessen the effects of water pollution. But this season they partnered with the Oxygen Project to promote these shoes and to spread awareness around toxic algae blooms. So if you're interested in learning more, you should check out their website, which I'll link in the description down below. Now, just like all of their other shoes, they're barefoot shoes, so thin, flexible. You can put them in all sorts of shapes and that kind of thing. But they also don't come with an insole. Now, most of Vivobarefoot shoes do, But these, it makes sense. You kind of just have the skeleton of the shoe and they're super breathable. Makes sense if you're going to be walking around or swimming in water. Well, what else would you be swimming in? Like, I guess you could be in mud, but these don't seem like they'd be very good shoes for mud. I'm not going to test them because really I'm not interested in poking out all the little holes where mud would dry. So I think if you're in fairly clear water or ocean water, you're good. But if you're gonna do like a tough mudder, probably not your best bet. So the tongue of this shoe is a little more fabricy. It's really like the only fabricy part of the entire shoe. Everything else is kind of this like rubber feeling stuff, but it's soft on the skin. So as far as blisters go, knock on wood, hasn't been an issue so far. But I love that you're able to just slide them on so easily, and oh, they're super comfortable. And you can just tie them up or tighten them with this little elastic, and that's just convenient. It's so convenient. I love them. So breathability is obviously a major plus. I mean, your foot is definitely able to breathe in these. Like, trust me on this. The toe box is wide enough. I can spread out my toes. I have a natural splay. Very comfortable. Highly, highly recommend as a great water shoe. And it's nice to the planet. So to sum up, the Ultra 3s, super breathable, very comfortable material, 2 thumbs up, huge fan, can't wait to wear them over and over and over again, and I'll keep you posted on how they hold up. So I'm going to be giving away 2 pairs of Vivobarefoot shoes, and if you want to win one of those pairs, all you need to do is go to Instagram and follow me, follow Vivobarefoot, and tag a friend in my giveaway post. But if you want more entries, there are a few other things that you can do. You can tag additional friends in individual comments on that giveaway post, and you can also leave your Instagram handle in a comment down below in this video. And as long as Vivobarefoot ships to your country, then you are eligible to enter. This giveaway is going to close midnight Central Standard Time on August 16th, and I will be announcing the winners later that day. So with all that said and done, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys!